The voice from the attic.
I never liked my parents' house. Even when I was a kid, it had this way of listening. You'd walk through the hallway and swear the floorboards paused right after you did, like they were waiting to hear what you'd say next. After Mom passed, the house went up for sale, and I was the one who had to go clean it out. My brother refused, said it gave him bad dreams. I laughed at him then. But that first night I stopped laughing. The house sits at the end of a dirt road just outside Bozeman, Montana. It's surrounded by fields that never seem to end, golden in the day, black as oil at night. When I pulled into the driveway, the porch light was still working. I don't know how, no one had been there in months. I left the truck running while I grabbed my overnight bag. The air smelled like dust, wood smoke, and something sour I couldn't place. Inside, everything was exactly the same. Same pictures on the wall. Same calendar stuck on the same month from 2 years ago. Even the radio on the kitchen counter still had a note from Mom. Don't touch. It works only if you jiggle the wire. She always said that radio had personality. I called it stubborn. I turned the light on, but the bulb flickered like it didn't trust me yet. And then I heard it. A soft dragging sound coming from the attic above. Like someone pulling a chair slowly across the floor. Now look, every old house makes noise, I know that. But this sound, it had a rhythm. It would move then stop. Move then stop. Almost like pacing. I stood under the attic hatch and just listened. The air above felt heavy, like the space itself was awake. I told myself it was probably raccoons. Or maybe the wind pushing a loose board. Still, I grabbed the pull string and gave it a 2. Gee. The ladder creaked due. WN, and that smell hit me. It was thick, stale, like burned dust mixed with old perfume. Meh. Something about it felt wrong. I climbed halfway up, just enough to poke my head through. My flashlight cut through webs and boxes, all the junk families keep for no reason. Christmas ornaments, baby clothes, Mom's wedding dress in a yellowed bag. And then, across the room I saw it. An old reel-to-reel tape recorder sitting on a crate. Plugged in. Light on. It shouldn't have been on. There was no power up there. I remember replacing those wires years ago. The whole attic circuit was dead. But the little red power light was glowing, steady and calm, like it had been waiting. I climbed the rest of the way up. The air was still. You could almost hear the insulation breathe. I looked closer. The tape was moving. Slowly. Someone had already pressed record. There wasn't any voice at first. Just static, the kind of static that sounds like it's almost trying to shape itself into words. Then a faint hum. And then, a woman's voice. Is that you, Allah? She sounded close. Too close. Like the mic was right against her mouth. I've been waiting for you. I froze. Alan was my dad's name. He died 10 years before Mom. I told myself it had to be some old recording. Maybe one of their weird little audio diaries. They used to make those when we were kids. Mom said talking into a machine was easier than talking to people. But then the voice said something else. You shouldn't have gone up there. I turned off the recorder. I wasn't in the mood for games. Only, the tape kept spinning. The reels were still moving even though the power light was off. And the voice, softer now, whispered again. You don't remember what you did, do you? I don't know why I said it out loud, but I answered. I didn't do anything. The air shifted. I felt it like static running through my arms. You left her. There, the voice said. You always leave he. Or there. And then silence. I stared at that machine for what felt like hours. The tape had stopped. The room was dead quiet. But there was something about that sentence, you left her there, that dug under my skin. I went downstairs and poured myself a glass of whiskey. I don't drink much, but I needed to remember myself again. The kitchen clock. K read 2:17 a.m. Outside it was dead quiet. No wind, no crickets, nothing. Gee. And then I heard it, a guy. The attic door creak. Footsteps, Slow, careful, deliberate, coming down the ladder. I stood up so fast the chair fell over. Who's there? I shouted. No answer. Just the sound of feet hitting the hallway floor. I grabbed the flashlight, ran toward the stairs, but when I turned the corner, the hallway was empty. Only one thing had changed. The old family photo, the one with Mom holding me as a baby, had been moved, tilted slightly on the wall. And in the reflection of the glass, the attic door was open again. I know how it sounds. It sounds like a story someone makes up for attention. But I swear to you, that night something woke up in that house. I tried to sleep on the couch. Didn't make it long. Around 4, I heard the tape recorder again. Only this time it was downstairs. The same soft static, the same hum, coming from the living room. I followed the sound. The machine was sitting on the coffee table. Plugged in. Tape spinning. The voice was clearer now. Alan, she's still upstairs. And this is where it got personal. Because then the voice said my name. Ethan. No one ever called me that in those tapes. They were from before I was born. There's no way she could have said it. You remember what happened in the attic? The voice whispered. You just don't want to. I stood there shaking. I was 5, I said. I don't remember anything. The static cracked, almost like laughter. Yes, you do. And then the tape rewound itself, all the way back, and started playing something else, another recording buried beneath the noise. It was a child's voice. My voice. Mommy says not to open the box. Mommy says it's not for me. My throat went dry. But I opened it anyway, the little voice said. And there was a girl inside. That's when I pulled the plug. The sound stopped. The red light went out. But right behind me, in the reflection of the TV screen, I saw movement. Just a small shadow standing near the hall. I turned around and nothing was there. Only the smell. That same old perfume from the attic. I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I packed everything I could fit in the truck. I didn't even check if the lights were off. Halfway down the road, I looked in the rearview mirror. The attic window, that tiny square under the roofline, had a silhouette in it. Small. Still. Watching. I kept driving. That should have been the end. But here's the part that won't let me go. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the realtor. She sounded uneasy. Said the house inspection had to be postponed. Apparently, one of the workers went into the attic and found the recorder again. Still plugged in. Still running. Tape spinning. And this time, there was something new on it. A man's voice. What? It was saying, don't go up there. Please. Don't go up there. I haven't been back since. The realtor told me the buyer backed out. Can't blame them. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I'll hear a faint hum, like a tape turning somewhere far away. And I'll wake up thinking about that attic, that red light, and that voice that knew my name before I even pressed play. You can call it grief, or trauma, or imagination. But I know what I heard. And I know one thing for sure. Some recordings don't play back the past. They wait for you to come home.